Living in Minnesota, we're no strangers to snowstorms. We know all about winter driving techniques, how to prepare our cars for winter, and when to throw on an extra layer before heading out. We're not as clear on what to do when the city declares a snow emergency. When do they start? Where are we supposed to park and for how long? We're demystifying snow emergencies in this week's episode of City 101. Our Public Works Department is always monitoring the weather. When 6 inches of snow or greater is expected, they will declare a snow emergency. Here's the lowdown on exactly what that means for those of us who live within the city limits. Once a snow emergency is declared, parking restrictions go into effect. Snow emergencies always last for 2 days. This is important to remember. 2 days. On the first day, city crews focus on cleaning up the main arteries of our towns. These main arteries are mapped out and are snow emergency routes. Therefore, on the first day of a snow emergency, you cannot park on snow emergency routes. On the second day of a snow emergency, all secondary roads or non-snow emergency roads are cleared. So, on day 2, you can't park on secondary roads. Let's review. Day 1, no parking on snow emergency routes. Day 2, you can park on snow emergency routes, but you can't park on secondary roads. Now that we've got that cleared up, let's move on to some finer points. The parking restrictions will always go into effect at 12:01 a.m. for each day of the snow emergency and will end at noon of the same day. This is because the snowplow drivers work at night. There is way less traffic on the roads, businesses are closed, and the roads are more empty. They'll work through the night until noon, then go home and sleep, and be back plowing the roads from midnight until noon of the second day of the snow emergency. Makes sense, right? But here's where we often see a problem. Someone will notice that their road has been plowed, so they will resume parking on the street, and then they'll get a parking ticket. This is frustrating for everyone involved. Remember, the parking restrictions stay in effect until noon of each day of a snow emergency, regardless of whether or not the road has been plowed. Our drivers will often plow a road quickly to clear it for travel, but then come back later on and do a more thorough job once the roads are passable. They can't do this effectively if cars are parked back on the roads they just cleared. So remember, don't park on the roads until noon of each day. So if you can't park on the roads, where can you park? The city offers free off-street parking 24 hours a day at multiple locations throughout town. You can find a complete list of them and all snow emergency information on the city's website, www.red-wing.org. Another idea is to be Minnesota nice and share your driveway with a neighbor for the night. Either way, the main thing is to keep the roads clear for our snowplow drivers. While we're sleeping warm in our beds, they're out in the ugliest weather, driving all night so our morning commute can happen safely. It takes at least 2 days to dig out our city after a storm, so be patient and let's work together, Red Wing. We want our roads cleared and safe just as badly as you do. That's the scoop on how snow emergencies work within the city of Red Wing. Got a question you'd like answered by those in the know? Send it to the city through Facebook, our website, or call it in. It just might be the story behind the next episode of City 101.